Welcome to the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me as always is Darth Austin.
Hello, everyone.
Back again, man. Back again for another week. I don't have anything witty to say because I'm pretty worn out. Week's been long. So, yeah, let's start the podcast.
So anyway, this week on Bad Batch, we see...
Wouldn't that be funny if one day we actually just came in and got like...
No banter.
Yeah, got like really serious about it and then just automatically started talking about the... Do you think people would know what to do?
I feel like our viewership would either drop ridiculously or spike.
Or spike. Yeah.
And I don't know how I'd feel about that. Like, I probably wouldn't even fix it. Like, well, I can see that they don't like our banter, but we're still going to do it.
Yeah, goodness. I wonder about that sometimes. Not very hard, mind you, but yeah, it's been a busy week. I was even a little late getting on here today for the recording just because I had extra junk to do.
Did a little speed read of Bounty Hunters.
Yeah, we're going to talk some comics today along with our newest episode of Bad Batch, but yeah, it's we're doing a lot of preparation to get people back into the office, at least on a rotational basis at the moment, and just dealing with a lot of random stuff. And we've had a couple of people that were under me that we've been able to move up into new positions and stuff. So yeah, it's just been a week. just been one of those weeks. And I've also been clearing out stuff. You've had a few pretty boring weeks, so that's good. You had one that's a little more exciting. Well, I wouldn't call it exciting, but yeah, I guess more involved. But you guys might not know this about the Darth, but he tries to be a minimalist, but he used to just randomly throw away things, other people's things sometimes, just to feng shui it up. What do they call that? The lady who does the hold your thing and hug it. And if you don't love it, then you get rid of it or something.
Something Mari. I can't think of her name.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Did you ever do that? Like when you're sifting through like all of my old games?
No, it's pretty emotionless.
Well, the thing is the funniest thing is the stuff that you saved was actually some of the stuff that we played the most, like some of the old Sega games, But yeah, you kind of sort of do a semi-minimalist type of thing anyway.
Yeah, I think honestly, I'm not saying it's necessarily a good thing. I mean, you should definitely have balance, and I'm not at that point yet, but I think it was just because we kind of grew up with some hoarders, and I just didn't vibe with that very well. So,
well,
I kind of went the other extreme a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what true hoarding is, like people who legitimately have a hoarding disease, but we certainly
won't throw away trash.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that. I actually cleared out a house that was literally just trash bags on top of trash bags. It was disgusting. But no, yeah, we were always, I guess
maximalist. We'll call it that.
Yeah, it was saturated. I like the word saturated.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of guitar lately. Looking for that saturated tone, which is actually not what I look for. But anyway, yeah, it is kind of funny. I got this house a while ago, and it was so empty because I was working on it, and they had cats. I'm allergic to cats. Can't do cats. Mm-hmm. So you tear up the carpet, you repaint the walls, you do all this stuff, and I was putting in all these floors, and I didn't have anything when I moved in here because it was like just sort of like a start fresh, and and then it's like, dang, I've accumulated a lot of crap, just through hobbies and whatever. So I've actually been getting rid of a lot of stuff, trying to condense down as I also, sort of upgrade the house and then, eventually, hopefully move from here and find something better that doesn't that doesn't have people around me or something. So I need my Jedi Temple of Solitude. out somewhere where people won't find it.
Certainly be a great time for you to get rid of your house, but good luck finding anything afterwards.
Well, yeah, for sure. And I actually know a couple of other people who have been looking like you have, and it's just doesn't really matter. The market is just and I can only speak for Ohio, really, but it's definitely getting. It's not bare, but it's just you have to make snap decisions.
Yeah.
You have to be ready to make an absolute snap decision right then and there, and then sometimes without even seeing the property, which is insane.
Well, it kind of goes back to that minimalist thing. It's like you typically think things through and actually plan a purchase, whereas that's exact opposite of what's happening right now. Just people see that interest rate. It's like, I don't care if it's what I want. I don't care. I just got to get it because it's a good deal.
Yeah, for sure.
And I could not even imagine not looking at a house before I buy it. That just gives me so much anxiety. It's not even an option for me.
Well, it's not very smart because there are a lot of people who don't take care of even houses that they own anymore. I mean, the stuff I had to do here wasn't really all that bad, but like, I have to move gutters because in the winter they freeze over because they're too high and it doesn't allow for runoff. One of the because this has a crawl space, it has these vents. Well, one of the vents was just basically disintegrating in front of your eyes, and I had a mouse or something in here at one point, so I had to replace it. But the it's too small; it's a half block, and I can't find half block vents, so I literally had to hacksaw a full block vent and then effectively silicone it in there. It's actually what they did before. So yeah, I mean, those are little things, but like, there are other things too that if you're not prepared for them, then you're in for a surprise, especially when you're dealing with older homes.
Yeah. Well, that's how it was the last one I looked at. If I hadn't gone in the house, I would be in a world of hurt right now. And I just bought it because it was a good deal, but it was a rental property. It was like from 1912, 1915, something like that. Super old. But it was a fairly decent sized house with a barn in the back with a 2-car garage, but everything was just deteriorating. There were broken windows to the garage that clearly had been broken a while. There was like everything sitting beside it was rusty, so you could tell it had been sitting there a while. Yeah. The tenants were cat people, but they didn't take care of their cat. Like the litter box hadn't been touched for probably months, so you walk in, it's just you want to throw up instantly. Yep. Like the basement, the guy was a metal worker, so there's like half stripped down guns and carbs and stuff all over. There was a few lathes and drill presses in the basement, and every square inch of the floor was covered in metal shavings. Like he never cleaned up after himself. And
yeah, it's kind of wild when you think about it, because like they obviously knew that someone was going to show the house,
right?
But they didn't do anything.
It's kind of both the tenant and the owner's fault. Like you'd think the owner would come in and look at it and be like, "Oh yeah, you got to clean this. I'm trying to get rid of it."
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
But I didn't even think about it at the time. It's like there's so much stuff in that house. Like an inspection would be a waste of time, because I don't know how guidelines were when you bought a house, but they can't touch anything. Obviously, they can't move furniture. They can't check behind anything. So it's just like they'd come in, look at it, and guess what was wrong.
Well, I mean, that is kind of what an inspector does. You try and get a good one. Obviously, they can walk around and go places. They're not going to catch everything, but they are. If you have a keen eye, you can catch a lot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if there's a bunch of crap around, potentially hiding things, and there's nothing that they can do. Yeah. So they do the best. There again,
maybe the owner was hoping for them to keep all their stuff there because he was trying to hide something. You never know.
Oh, for sure.
Paranoid, kind of.
Yeah. That sounds like that would be a lot of upfront work.
That's just kind of like buying a used car. It's like no matter how nice the car looks, you just kind of always assume the seller is trying to screw you over. You just.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was in that process, a couple years ago when I was thinking about getting a car to save some miles on the truck, which I probably will do again.
I just imagine how much worse it is now. I mean,
Well, yeah.
same situation, but 10 times the price for a used car. It's crazy.
Well, we also deal with the pandemic. I mean, have you looked at car lots lately and how bare they are? You know how nobody's talking about that?
Nobody does talk about that.
Nobody really does talk about it.
But even when I take my car, which is new, it's a lease, in for service work, it's like there are no cars at that dealership, new or used. There's like maybe 15 cars in the parking lot. It's a fairly big dealership too. It's kind of creepy in a way.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, I remember like testing. I remember I tested this one car, and I can't remember what it was, but there was clearly something wrong with the drivetrain. It was bad.
The one that started grinding before you got out of the parking lot.
No, that was another one. But anyway, there were a few really doozies out there. So yeah, I get what you mean. But yeah, that's kind of the way of the world. I will say that, I mean, there are some bright spots popping up. Obviously, we're starting to see some potential results from some of the states that have sort of opened back up, and those have been, to this point, relatively positive. Mm-hmm. A lot of things are being scheduled. It kind of seems like a lot of the con sort of market is coming back 2022. Obviously, May will be Celebration, which coincidentally I have to get with my people so that we can start looking at rooms, because I think the rooms actually open up for booking like next week. So we kind of have to jump on that, I would assume. So, there's a lot of things opening up. Obviously, we're talking about some backpacking trips and getting out and doing that. There's a lot less restrictiveness just around here. And like I said earlier, kind of getting back into the office, which will be odd, I think, but it will also probably be welcome. I think there are a lot of people who need it.
I don't know about for you, this might seem petty, but I'm kind of excited that the mask thing is being lifted, because I don't know if all of our listeners have this issue, but my allergies are terrible right now. I feel like I'm dying half the time, and walking outside when it's 85 degrees with a mask is miserable when you can't breathe very well.
Well, yeah, you've always had really bad allergies, and I do too. For me, my eyes have just been on fire.
Oh, they've been terrible for me too. Yeah.
So I've been hitting the old nasal spray, but yeah, it's been pretty bad. I think the vaccination stuff is going along. And again, I'm not here to tell you one way or the other. You can do whatever the heck you want. I mean, it is still America. But that seems to be going along. A lot of the elderly, I think, at least that I know of, have been getting that done. So that's very good for them. Certainly being very susceptible. And then, just a lot of people in general have been out and getting that, which is good. I guess I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about it, but yeah, the mask stuff. I know a lot of people have been cool with that, and I don't really mind so much, but I definitely notice it on my face. I'm not a jewelry guy. I'm not an accessory guy. I don't want things on my face. When we were talking about last week, the Thrawn book, I would have broken the Agbui's hands for touching me in my face. So I don't like putting things on my face, no facial tattoos or anything like that. No nose rings or anything cool like that, I guess.
Let's be honest, if we didn't have to wear glasses, we'd be happier.
Oh, for sure. But
Even that is annoying.
I can't do contacts. I can't force them in my eye. So I, pretty much have to. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think there's definitely a lot of optimism. Warmer weather. This is basics human psychology. Sun's out.
Right. Start getting happier.
Yeah, you get the vitamin D in you, and on you, in you.
Man, that sounded really bad.
All the D.
Moving on.
But it helps out. It helps out a lot. And I've been doing a lot of outside stuff recently too, so it's been nice. You get out of the pale, the pale. I will say this. I'm not making fun of you or anything. No. So I went to get a haircut the other week. I just thought you'd get a kick out of this because people make fun of your head. I mean, they don't make fun of your head. It's all behind your back. Anyway, no. So I had a trainee, and I hate this. I hate it so much because they suck so bad.
You don't want to be their first sculpture?
No, because okay, but here's the thing. You actually have a little bit more round head. I don't have like a perfectly round head. It's a wee bit, I guess. I don't know. I've never like
oblong. Are you oblong?
I don't know, man. It feels relatively roundish to me. I don't think I have a blockier head, but you know, it's just like the way the hair sets, man. You have to cut it a certain way, and I always notice. I notice, and then I make. Well, I don't make them cry, but I certainly. I've
make them question if this is the profession they want to be in for long periods of time.
Well, I mean, I can be pretty stern, and you know, just like I've had a few people like kind of be taken a little bit aback, and I remember just one. I literally told the person, it's like, so do you like it? I was like, no, it sucks. I mean, this is like a terrible haircut. And, you know, I don't mean to hurt people's feelings, but like, if you can't see the stuff that I see, then you're not a very good hair. Because I don't know jack about hair. But anyway, yeah, they were.
No, they're hoping you don't know anything and don't say anything. That's why they're not pointing it out.
Yeah, but so the other lady comes over and starts fixing it, who's cut my hair a few times. And she was trying to like teach the girl too, who was doing mine. He's like, yeah, so, you know, you kind of have to go up a little higher and really get the scissors. You can't use the guard or anything. You really got to scissor cut it, you know, because when you have a block, not that you have a blockhead, but, you know, like a block. So what you're saying is you think I've been told the weirdest things by hairstylists, like, you know, because of like some of the Native American and stuff in you know, my bloodlines and so forth. And, you know, the really dark, thick black hair. I've had like, you know, so like, what's your ethnicity? Like a lot. You know, it's
really?
like, are you Jewish? Do you have this, that, or the other? And I was like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. And I wasn't really here to talk about any of this. Just cut the hair, please. And you know, it's always, oh, it's so thick. So thick and luscious. It's like, listen, if you want to put me on a book cover with Fabio, that's fine, but just like cut the hair and let me get the hell out of here.
No, you should take advantage of that. If they like it that much, you could actually get a discount. Clearly, they like your hair.
I only get a discount when I yell at them and make them feel bad. So,
no, this haircut is terrible. Actually, I love it, but I'm just gonna complain.
No, I've never refused to pay, and I've never accepted like a free haircut. It's like, no, I'm perfect. And I'll even still tip them too, because they still worked. It just, eventually somebody else has to come over and then like recut it. So, and I'm never picky. I don't want to be the guy who's like, well, I have to have this person to cut my hair and I'm going to sit here for an hour. Hell no, I'm not. Just, you know, come on, man.
Right.
Oh well. So anyway, that's the week in the contingency plan, I guess.
You know how we said that one day we were gonna not do a rant? That's not today. We're just, you know, we're at what, 15, 20 minutes.
Who the heck cares?
We're doing good.
Nobody's listening anyway. No. So
they skip ahead. They know to skip ahead about 20 minutes. You should do like the YouTube thing where there's a little line. Where we actually start talking about Star Wars stuff, and then another line when we stop, and then another line when we start again.
I actually thought that was really stupid when they first started doing it, and then I realized it wasn't stupid at all. Because I do not have AD or like ADD or ADHD or whatever, but sometimes I do get tired of hearing people talk, and I skip ahead of things. In videos and whatnot. And actually, I'll tell you that is relatively useful. And I applaud the people that like do that and actually put the labeling and everything, because I wouldn't do that. I'm not doing it.
Well, it's just kind of nice. Like, look, we have a certain demographic that they just don't care about all the advertisements. They're going to skip it anyway. So let's just acknowledge that and help them out a little bit.
Well, speaking of advertising,
they're more likely to use us that way.
Yeah, speaking of advertisements, this podcast is brought to you. No, I'm just kidding. We're not sponsored.
Popeye's chicken.
But speaking of advertising, so I mean, I listen to a pretty wide variety of podcasts. I mean, not so much recently, just because I just don't really feel like listening to podcasts at home. But I always found it funny. I started listening to Chris Jericho's podcast, the wrestler. Because, and honestly, the only ones I listen to are when they talk about music, because they would do these where they would do these album clashes, like 2 albums from the same artist, as long as they had the same number of songs. And then they went song by song and like, nah, this is the best song. This is the best song from this, and so on and so forth. So I kind of like that. But like the way he does ad reads is kind of ridiculous. 'Cause he'll be like they'll be having this conversation, like, you say, oh yeah, no, the day was really good. And then you'll hear it. You'll hear the transition and it'll just be him like, yeah, your day was so great. Well, guess what? Your day is going to be super great when you go and buy MeUndies or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, he tries to do these like transitions, like he's still talking to the people. But then he reads and it's like, no, you're totally doing this after the fact because nobody talks like it. It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. He's so much richer. He's so much richer than I'll ever be. So it doesn't matter. But that's
such a late '90s, early 2000s TV thing to do too. Like I thought that was dead. I thought that was dead. Oh, speaking of both wrestlers and TV, though, I haven't watched the show yet, but I've heard about it. Have you watched the A&E WWE Legends biography series? They go through all of the old wrestlers we grew up with.
No, and I know
apparently it's amazing.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've heard that, and then they've also been doing some. What is that series? Like Beyond the Ring, I think is what it's called, or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I've watched some of that, and I've seen like some of the interviews of those guys, and what's ridiculous is I don't know. We're still not Star Warsing yet. I feel bad for the people, but those people put a lot on the line to entertain people, but then they also broke their kayfabe rules so much to where people just don't suspend belief. And then they also made the show so much about the fans that it was the fans always trying to be a bigger part than the wrestlers. And yeah, it's just a weird thing. I don't think I could watch it now, but I remember we didn't watch a ton of wrestling, but I mean, watched some in the 90s, and then a little bit after that, but not much.
Who was the? I always remember my favorite wrestler at the time. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Was it Venom?
What?
The dude with the red face paint. What was his name?
Kane?
Was it Kane?
He had the red mask.
The red mask. Was it mask? I thought it was paint. Okay.
Nah, yeah. Well, Kane. Yeah, it was Kane and the Undertaker. Brothers of Destruction. Yeah, Kane. Yeah, Kane. He had the fire for his entrance and so forth.
Yes, we had all the toys for him and the wrestling sets and everything.
You know, his first gimmick was a dentist. He was Dr. Isaac Yankem. That was the first thing that they gave him when he went in there. I remember watching it, like, because that was like 96 or 7 or something, like when I watched it, because I watched I remember some of the stuff from like 93, which is odd because I was pretty darn young, but like it was like 96 through like 97. I remember kind of a bit of that. But yeah, Kane was he was formerly Dr. Isaac Yankem, and they painted black stuff on his teeth. But yeah, Kane was cool. He had that like up thrusting punch thing like to the neck. It always looked really good. Plus he was massive. He was a huge guy.
Yeah. I always remember they had the weirdest toys for him too. Like I remember I had a toy that was he was on a motorcycle. It would launch up in the air, but like there was articulation for the wrists and the hands, and it would rotate so he could like flip up over and sit on the handlebars as he launched him. It's like, why is this a wrestling toy?
Oh, that's funny.
It's like, remind me where his entrance was on a motorcycle in the WWE.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah, different time, but yeah, the wrestling shows have definitely been coming out. I mean, well, the Resurrection of Jake the Snake, that was a big one, like a couple of years ago when that came out. So yeah, I mean, there's some interest around that. I think there is some interest around that right now.
Yeah.
Just people remembering kind of a golden time of, sweaty, oiled up men touching each other in the ring and pile driving each other.
It's funny talking about stuff that we grew up with that kind of just died out as having a surge. Another thing is BattleBots. You remember BattleBots? That's actually huge again.
The arena thing.
BattleBots.
Yeah, the remote control. Yeah.
The nerdy teams that would build a bot and just destroy each other.
Yeah.
That's a big thing again. Like you go through stores and there's a bunch of toy sets for them now, and the show's back up and running. They have who'd they have as a host last time? I can't remember now. Crap. Anyway, but yeah, that show is massive now. My son watches that all the time, and he gets so excited about it. Literally the same bots that we watched. Like, they didn't change anything about them.
Yeah, I think that was like a Spike TV thing. It was like Spike, wasn't it, who ran it? Yeah. That was interesting. That was kind of a cool series.
Spike TV always had the best stuff, MXC and all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Well, all right. I think we've yacked long enough, so let's go ahead and roll on into the actual topic for today. So some Star Wars, right?
I thought we were talking Potter, but okay.
No, that's another gag podcast.
Someday we'll talk Potter.
Jeez. Well, first and foremost, we are going to talk Bad Batch. So, episode 5, Rampage. But we're also going to go over a couple comics. We're actually going to be a little bit more comic heavy for the next couple weeks just because we kind of want to run through them a bit. We just figured out we were getting really backed up and the comic train just isn't really stopping. And then at the end of this month, we have what was the book at the end of June again? I have it up here. I'll find it. I'm almost
just
there.
Close that tab. Great.
Nah, it's cool.
We've got a couple of High Republic books actually.
Well, yeah. So Rising Storm, which is the one we've been kind of waiting for because this is Stellan Geos.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Cavan Scott's The Rising Storm, June 29th, and then July 27th is Out of the Shadows. That's a Justina Ireland young adult kind of novel. And then there was also the one on the 29th, wasn't there? Oh, yeah. So there's June 29th is also a junior novel, Race to Crash Point Tower, which is Daniel Oze Older. Again, High Republic, probably some kids stuff there. So we might just skip that probably. We're not really taxing or jonesing for content right now, so I think we're okay. But the comic landscape is so rich right now. The War of the Bounty Hunters is really kind of picking up. Mm-hmm. So we kind of figured we would get in a little bit more in depth and try and catch up a bit more. So we have issue 9 of Dr. Aphra. We have issue 12 of the mainline Star Wars comic, and then issue 11 of Bounty Hunters. Yes. And then next week, we'll be picking up with High Republic. What was it, 3 and 4, I think I said, or 4 and 5, or 5 and 6?
4 and 5. We've already done 3. Yeah.
Okay, so 4 and 5. And then after that, we'll be getting into the start of the War of the Bounty Hunters series, which really is just the main comics, but they apparently start to intersect each other. But yeah, June's pretty heavy, man. I mean, we're looking on June 2nd alone, there are 3 comics that come, 3 comics that come out. Another War of the Bounty Hunters, High Republic Adventures, and then another issue of the High Republic, and then like June just keeps trucking. Like week after week, there's something new seemingly every week. Oh no, okay, never mind. It's not really Actually, I'm in the wrong section. Is June that heavy? Oh yeah, okay. It continues. So yeah, I mean there's just a continuation for comics, and I kind of figured, oh well, that's wrong, or is it not?
What's that?
I don't know. Well, the Weapon of the Jedi that I just showed you that I got Wednesday says it's out on the 30th? Or is this the second one? Oh, this is number 2. Are they doing another one? Oh, interesting. Okay, so there's a continuation. It has the same... it can't have the same cover. That'd be goofy. So we might even talk about that Weapon of the Jedi. I have to read through it first and see if it's any good, but there's a lot, man. There's a lot coming up.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool because we had just recently decided to really get into comics. Obviously, you've done a little bit on the side, but we never really focused on it before, and it just seems like it's the best time to jump in.
Well, we ran into a lull there as well with content. So, and there's some interesting stuff in them. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to Bad Batch. Rampage, relatively short runtime, 24-ish minutes, 25 minutes. Of course, like 3 minutes of credits. So again, still relatively short. But I have to say, just initially, kind of better.
Yes.
Kind of better.
Yeah. More than kind of, I would say, honestly. It was a good breath of fresh air. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, even the kid jokey stuff is a little bit better too. In the beginning we see Omega getting a comm unit, which was Crosshairs, and she's it's kind of a gag here for a second. She's running around like using the comm. It's not a toy.
Yeah,
Roger that. Into the comm still. So that's it's funny. But
until she gets them caught in a stealth mission.
Kind of. I mean, whatever. Now, we're still searching for a plot here. And essentially, the Bad Batch is like, well, there's bounty hunter after us. We've got to get more information. How do we do that? Well, we go find... what was that person's name again?
Sid? Is it Sid?
Sid, yeah.
C-I-D Sid.
Yeah. So we're gonna go find Sid, who apparently was an informant for the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And
Echo's the one that tips him off on this, I believe.
Yeah, Echo doesn't know who Sid is, but knows where Sid is. Yeah. I don't know who it is, but where it is, sure. Yeah, okay.
You know what would have been kind of cooler than Sid? Our chef that was Obi-Wan's little buddy.
Oh, what was his name? Dex?
Yeah.
I think.
That would have been sweet.
Actually, yeah.
I feel like he's probably underground by now. Like, doesn't he abandon?
I feel like he's probably just dead. I don't know what happened to him, honestly. No, I have no idea. I have no idea what happened to Dex. But yeah, that was episode 2 stuff. He would be around.
Mm-hmm.
Who had to yawn there, man? Sorry.
So it kind of brings up a question here as they're trying to figure out who Sid is, and this guy's kind of ignoring them, and Omega just straight up's like, "You're Sid. I know you're Sid." Do you think it's just child intuition or something else? Because there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, she might be a little force sensitive. She can sense that kind of stuff."
I really hope she's not force sensitive, and
I feel like she's just super intuitive, in my opinion. Well, that's what I like to think.
Yeah, but to be honest, here's the thing. How would it benefit the Kaminoans by creating a force sensitive clone? Because it's been made very clear that the Emperor wants to eradicate force sensitives, not just Jedi, but force sensitives.
Mm-hmm. And at the point of cloning Omega, they wouldn't have even thought for a second, "Oh, they're going to betray us," because they weren't even around yet. Now they're starting to question it, sure, but And it would also kind of, I don't want to say it would add plot holes to the story, because obviously the Kaminoans get kind of wiped out in a way. But I just don't like the idea of being able to clone Force sensitives through the Kaminoans, personally.
Yeah, I'm a little meh on that whole thing. So, yeah, I mean, I think the point maybe that they're trying to do is that Omega is not just like a kid; she's potentially like a super kid, and she knows stuff, and maybe she's got cool spidey senses that we don't know about yet.
She's just a better hunter.
But well, I mean, the thing is that this does sort of turn the night into the naivety of the clones episode, where we kind of go back and realize how simple the clones really see the world. You know what I mean?
Well, there was one thing I didn't really like. It revolves around tech, and I forget exactly what they ask about, but he's like, that's not something the clones dealt with, so I have no data on that. It's like, well, if you're that intelligent, do you really only go off the clone database, or can you not figure out anything from any other source of information? Like,
well, but I mean, that
how
was
much of a crutch do you have?
well, yeah, but I think the thing with that, because we're getting a little bit further, but let me just outline. So they meet Sid, and in exchange for information about the bounty hunter, Sid sends them on a mission to save Moochie, which we'll talk about here in a second. And that mission doesn't go particularly well. So I think what happens with Tech is that he's saying, listen, I can strategize on a battlefield, but when we're talking about just like a random mission like this, I mean, I'm out of my depth. But at the same token, I really don't. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't really accept that as reality, because it's like, I mean, you could have done this on a mission. It's just a rescue mission. You know what I mean? Figure it out.
It kind of goes back to like, so are you really smart, or are you just essentially a computer database? Like, which are you?
Yeah. So that was a little bit mad, but again, I think the clone's not realizing that Sid is Sid, and they're sitting there arguing about it, and it's like, well, I mean, my goodness, people could probably tell you anything, and you'd believe them. But again, I mean, even like when we've had extensive contact with Rex, he even displays some of that naivety, but you also have to remember, they haven't been alive that long.
True.
They haven't been alive that long at all. So
you can accelerate growth, but you can only accelerate experiences so much.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of programming, but I mean, the real world stuff. So I don't know. I think there is a level of naivety.
What I do know is I'm getting a little bit worried about Wrecker.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Wrecker, he's continuing with this headache thing, and I don't know. I wonder how long they're going to draw it out, but eventually, I think he's going to flip.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think at that point we'll start. I think at some point we're kind of going to have to introduce Rex into this story, because then we have a reason to remove the chips. And unless they can figure out themselves, we got to deal with Rex. So we are going to see him at some point, I think.
Yeah. I suppose, but how would they know where Rex is? Like, how would they even go about finding that out? I think building that in would be. But yes, I think. I think that would make sense. Sorry, I'm tired.
Oh, you're fine.
Keep yawning. I need some
Coffee.
coffee.
Just stop doing it. You're gonna make me yawn. It's not cool. I was just starting to wake up. I took my nap and I'm feeling good now. Don't ruin it.
God, taking naps. But yeah, you got a Stardew Valley all night, man. You got them games.
That's right.
As I was finishing up the comic, we were on Zoom, and I just hear Switch sounds. He's just off camera playing his games. Yeah. Goodness. So anyway, clones are sent on this mission to save Moochie. They don't know what or who Moochie is. But they do see some captive slave traders that are, capturing folks in order to sell them as slaves. And this is kind of sort of an interesting transitional period between the Empire and the Republic, where, the Republic was so governed with Jedi keeping the peace that, slave trades and stuff, it was on the outer rim, but you just couldn't do that all over the place. Now it's a little bit more like, we could probably get away with this now. And then you have what were these guys called? It started with a Z.
Zidarians or something like that. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and. I want to say Zygarians, but I don't know. Zygarian. Yeah, Zygarians.
Yep, where we just found it. Yep, Zygarian.
And I thought of them, they kind of look like cat people.
A little bit, yeah.
Cat people with a flying thing.
Cat thing.
Yeah.
That's one weird little creature.
I mean, it is. It's kind of interesting, though.
It's almost like a flying squirrel, only way too big to be comfortable with it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the Bad Batch is incapacitated. And
quite easily.
Yeah, relatively easily, for sure. They were definitely ambushed. And then we start to realize a little bit about this job. Not super sinister, but it has to do with the Hutts.
Mm-hmm.
Old Bib Fortuna. Bib Fortuna pops back up here. And then just to make a long story short, Moochie is a Rancor.
Which is awesome.
Now, do you
think this is the Rancor from Return of the Jedi?
I was, just about to say it.
Because I want it to be that Rancor so bad.
You know what? I was actually going to look that up if that...
if anyone ever called her Moochie in them. That's going to be a new extra director's cut add-in, is someone's going to call her Moochie. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I can only type so fast, by the way. That would be interesting, though. It makes sense, but I don't know. Does it have a name? I don't know if it officially has a name.
Well, it does now. I don't care if it's canon or not. I just like to believe that is the Rancor. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, they don't really say. Yeah, just Jabba's Rancor.
Such an iconic moment. You'd think there'd be a little more depth to that.
Well, I mean, there's further stories of like the keeper of the Rancor in like Aftermath, Cobb Vance, and they have like a baby Hutt. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's a lot of continuing stories from that line. But, yeah, anyway, well, Moochie apparently didn't see Luke as the alpha. So. Well, anyway, so the Bad Batch is captured, and to the rescue, sort of, comes
Moochie
Omega.
Moochie with rocks and Omega. Terrifying combination.
Yeah, and I think this episode is there's definitely a lot of points that'll lend credence to this whole Force sensitivity, because even with, aside from the Sid thing, you also have like Omega sort of stopping at the the Rancor cage, and I've got an idea. I don't know too many people that would have thought about that and be like, this sounds like a great idea. I'm just gonna like open this cage. What?
Plus, we do see her kind of riding Moochie later on. It's like, well, she didn't really dominate it as the alpha, so maybe she's got a little bit of beast mastery. Be okay with that.
Beastmaster.
It's a big thing in Force culture in the past few books is everyone controlling massive beasts.
I mean, is it
Vader with his squid thing and
so stupid? That was so dumb. Yeah, so Moochie breaks out here, not a full grown Rancor, obviously. And throws rocks. A lot of rock throwing and
people throwing.
People throwing, yeah.
People slamming.
Yeah. I kind of would have liked to have seen Moochie defeat that stupid flying squirrel thing, though. Couldn't really do that.
Oh, by the way, kind of just lends back to this show being slightly dark compared to other Star Wars cartoons. Did you happen to notice when that one dude falls from that building? Like he's shooting at Moochie with the little stun thing, and then he just knocks into the building and he falls off to his death. Did you hear the splat?
I don't really remember. No, they put a splat sound effect in there.
Yes. It's like,
no Wilhelm scream.
Oh God, no. It should be Wilhelm and then splat. That would be epic.
There you go. No, I guess I'll have to go back and look at that later.
I just think it's funny they're a little more liberal with all that cringe-worthy, violent stuff. I kind of like it in a way.
Well, I think you can get away with that sometimes in cartoons.
Yeah.
Oh, and apparently Wrecker's almost immune to energy whips.
Yeah. No, you talk about Hunter when he fights the one.
Or Hunter. What did I say?
Wrecker.
Whatever. They're all the same. No, I'm just
by the way, Omega gets the coolest bow I've ever seen.
Yeah, she doesn't get to use it.
I was kind of disappointed.
When she picked up that bow, I actually thought it would have been an interesting point for a lesson because, she's very naive. And even when she gets the comm, she acts like a typical kid would, with the imagination. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm a secret agent. But it would have been interesting.
I just shot someone in the head.
That's what I'm saying. It would have been interesting to have seen her have to use it. Yeah. And then, that could have been like some interesting like father-daughter moment where they're like, you had to, kid.
Yeah.
Well, what's killing? I don't know.
Here. This is how you mark it on the wall. This is your first kill.
And
then when you get to 5, you go across the other 4.
Next episode, she just has face paint or whatever the hell Wrecker or no, I keep saying it, but like Hunter has on his. You think that's a tattoo, or you think it's like face paint?
Birth defect.
Yeah, because if it's a tattoo, it's like the crappiest tattoo ever.
Right. It's eczema. It's just eczema.
Black eczema. I mean that's pretty bad. I mean when your skin just turns like. Black as coal. That's probably
he's a messed up clone.
I mean, all I'm saying is that's usually indicative that your face is dead. Did you also notice how Wrecker just choked out the Rancor? Kind of like Jabba the Hutt style.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of hilarious when they're both super tired doing their little fight, and he's like punching him on the shoulder and stuff.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
It's probably the funniest thing Wrecker's ever done, honestly.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I don't know if this energy bow is like a stun or if it's like actually like something you could set to kill. I assume they'd make it a stun thing, but that would be an interesting lesson kind of for Omega to learn. Harsh, very harsh, but
yeah.
If she wants to be like this, commando girl, then she's got to have to kind of learn some of those lessons because it's not like the Bad Batch hasn't killed people along the way.
Right.
I mean, that's not even trip. I mean, they totally have.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, she's got good aim when she wants it. She shot a sniper rifle out of Crosshair's hand, so
yeah.
I think she'll be proficient in it.
Yeah. Would be kind of uncomfortable, though, depending on the weight.
Yeah.
Kind of looked like your old Yu-Gi-Oh thing that used to ooh-woo to when you were a kid,
Ooh was not even a thing back then.
Do the fingers to the temple thing,
Was like that Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't even remember that.
Dude, I don't know. It's just some anime thing. I don't know what's what. I just know that it's some anime thing.
Actually, I think he did do that, but it was like almost like the Dragon Ball Z, I'm going to teleport thing.
You're done, Yugi boy. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of haws. Anyway, so we return Moochie to old Bib Fortuna, and now Moochie's like really super nice and happy monster thing, which is relatively hilarious. It's like, Luke, he just wanted to give you a hug. God, you killed him. You shoved a bone in his mouth.
Eat some pigs.
And then you stabbed him in the neck with a gate. It's like, you
already ate it.
psycho.
It's not like he was going to do anything to you.
Jabba's up there. I just wanted you to meet my friend, you psychopath.
That's been my pet for 25 years. Well, 20 years, I guess, at this point.
So anyway, we do reveal the identity of the bounty hunter, which we knew, but Fennec Shan. And Sid kind of makes them this offer, basically says you're going to need friends or a lot of money, and gives them a cut in the job, which is good. Little case of loose credits. Not even like evenly distributed. You couldn't even fill the case. It's just, a bunch of loose leaf.
Looks like Tic Tacs almost.
Yeah, loose leaf credits here. I mean, whatever. Okay, let me stop and think here. What would you think if we went back to using something like that as money? Because, I mean, that would be like going back to coins. In the old days where like you had a sack of coins instead of like bills or a card. Seriously, think about this. The Empire, they never thought about using swipeable cards. Like if Emperor Palpatine wanted to track you, he would do it that way. Credits, though, I mean, it's like money.
Well, just think about how difficult it was for them to transfer currencies over because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they doing? Just melting down the old currencies and using them for blaster parts or what?
Yeah, that is a good question, actually. But,
nobody thinks about just how difficult it is to carry around money back then compared to now.
Well, and then how do you tell denominations of credits? I haven't looked into this. We need to have a research into credit episode one time. How did Imperial credits really work?
It's either going to be super fleshed out or super disappointing.
Can you break
this
pieces
is a coin
of credits
collector's
off?
dream.
Well, like in Star Trek, they had Latinum, where it was just like a liquid inside of bars of gold, and you had larger denominations of the gold bars that contained more of the liquid. The liquid was what was valuable. The gold didn't mean anything. But yeah, I mean, in this, you just have a bunch of these credits. It's like, so do you snap off a piece of it to buy an apple, or? I mean,
hold on. I broke off too much. I guess I'll take two.
No, they pre-perforated those bad boys. I don't know. It sort of seems like a super odd way of doing business, but hey, what do I know? All right.
That's the problem when you start something that's super futuristic in the 70s.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like Back to the Future.
Well, but you could have easily changed that. I don't know that they really talked about the credits in the old, showed them. They didn't show those in the old movies.
Not in the movies, no.
That's literally something we just came up with along the way. What's money? Metal rods. What?
Honestly, other than the cartoons, there's really not that much mention of them. I mean, I'm sure the books have quite a few mentions, but you don't see it all that often.
No, sometimes you just see credits exchanging hands, but it's not much because, well, I mean, Mando he got paid with Beskar from the client. I don't remember what Grief did he give him anything for the first round of bounties that he brought in the very beginning.
Yes.
The Mon Cal circles,
the flong or whatever it's called. I can only pay you 75% of the bounty.
Yeah, he actually gave him physical discs.
I don't know. I guess growing up with Star Wars, I always just kind of pictured credits as you would have a little disc or a token of some kind, and it would have a digital readout of what its worth was.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
It just seems like it would be way easier than you have one generic thing and then you add value to it and it's linked to an account in some way.
Well, I'm just saying something costs 1,000 credits. Like you have to carry
Pull
in
out
your
1,000 credits.
1, a 2, a 3,
So then,
4.
do you think they stick
5.
together like cash?
Dude, I have no idea. They're magnetic.
And then now
Could
we're
you
thinking
imagine
about
the
this too much,
magnetism? If they were all magnetic. You just fly into a wall. It's like, gosh, too many credits.
That's how hover vehicles work.
If you had credits in either pocket and they just slap your
Right.
legs together, that's just out of here.
But then, now we're thinking about this too much. Then you bring into so every store has to have a cash register. So now Star Wars has cash registers.
Dude, I'm telling you, it doesn't make much sense. It really doesn't make much sense. It would make more sense if everybody had like a card. Like, here's your
Right.
chain code, which is an actual, like, indestructible card.
Why is the chain code even a thing when you have physical money? Is that your routing number? Is that your bank account
Is
number?
that your routing number?
Is that what your chain code is?
Oh, goodness.
Hold on. I don't have enough credits on me. Let me just whip out my paper checkbook and write you a check. Here's my chain code.
Ew, paper. You just see them dust off the old swipey thing.
Or like you have
Goodness.
in Mandalorian when Boba's showing off his history. It's like, here, this is me. And that's where he gets his bank account information. Oh, no, chain code showing. No, too personal.
You're not like an identity thief, are you? I mean, this armor has been away from me for a while. God.
Cobb Vance just stole all his money when he got the armor.
Little did he know I got out of Boba everything I needed from his
Been
chain.
drinking off him for a long time.
Jeez. There's nothing left. Well, you ready to hit some comics?
Sure.
All right, which one? You get to pick first.
Bosk. Let's just go ahead and do Bounty Hunter.
All right. Bounty
Not my
Hunters.
most favorite, so.
Well, hey, talk to the
this
fine
out of the
people while I reach behind me to turn on my light.
Bosk. Yes, Bounty Hunters Marvel issue 11. So,
Did you say anything
what are we
interesting?
I was just saying which issue we were in and everything. Was like,
Oh, I'm sure
well,
that's not what you were saying.
So,
I will listen to this later.
Main character, really boring. What are we going to do to spice it up? Bosk. Why not?
Yeah,
Everyone loves Bosk.
we haven't really been a huge. I think Bounty Hunters lost us a little bit along the way.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll continue on because we're
There's
already
just
here.
such a cooler. There are so many cooler bounty hunters you could have followed, other than old Valance.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, I don't really mind him because the first in Target Vader wasn't bad, but one thing that takes me out of this a little bit, I don't really care for the artwork as much.
Yeah,
It seems
either.
like half done at times.
Even like when people get shot or stabbed, it's like, are they really getting shot or stabbed, or is it just a flash of light? Like I just feel like everything's odd.
Yeah, for sure.
Even Bosk is a little weird looking. Like when he's in his first panel, when he's doing that little dive attack, it's like that barely even looks like Bosk.
Well, and that's the other thing about this series. Everything's like a big dive attack or some.
It's almost like
face,
anime in a way. It's almost like a manga in a way with all the combat.
Yeah. So anyway, let's fly through this relatively quick. So we start out with Valance Superman punching Dengar, and then breaking his cuffs, and then getting Superman punched, and then they shake hands over the top style. Well, not really over the top, dude. That like, you remember that movie Stallone, the arm wrestling movie, Over the Top?
Mm-hmm.
At the very end, when they clasp hands like they're getting ready for one more, and it's just like the big old throbbing muscles. That's like the greatest handshake of all time. We should handshake like that.
Well, there's a meme about that.
Like when it's safe again, when we all go back, it's like, now we're not just going in with these limp wrists. We are going in like full on muscle man.
No
Like,
fist bumps. We're done with fist bumps, people.
we're getting ready to have an arm wrestling. Just let our
them veins, pop them.
Everybody's on roids now. Listen, if you think that those guys got that way naturally, you're sorely mistaken. I'm just saying.
No one has that kind of time.
Yeah. So anyway, Dengar and Valance are like they're together
Bros
now.
They're bros.
Did you follow the plot of this comic at all?
As far as with the banking clan and the little
Yeah, I don't
hunters
know.
party, or everything else?
Like,
because I
just-
didn't care about anything but the banker clan guy.
I mean,
honestly.
just the comic in general, because I had trouble following.
I mean,
it.
I followed it, but I didn't care about it.
Well, anyway,
I
there's
also read it ridiculously quickly, so I feel
yeah,
like I
that's
jumped
true.
through it a little
But
bit.
I mean, there's a hunt.
Boss gets a gun that's like, oh, terrible trigger, I can't fit, so I'm gonna have a knife for the rest of the comic.
Yeah. So what was it? What was the point of this hunt thing? Like,
Well,
what are we
so
doing?
basically, like the second in command of the bankers clan and a few other people are paying to hunt these slaves at a remote planet, and Bib Fortuna is like, oh, well, you should go ahead and join the huts because, you just should. You're going to get hurt if you don't. And it turns out that Bosk is working for the huts, and he goes after the banking clan, but there's these slaves that Bosk kind of saves and by proxy, and then he starts using them as bait to get through this gauntlet, essentially.
Sounds terribly fascinating.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not. I mean, it's super generic story. I don't know.
It was so interesting. I pulled up some Twitter to punish myself.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
are
know.
we? Did you have more to say? I don't know.
I mean, that's basically the story. We don't see anything else with Valance, so that's basically it.
That sounds fascinating. Hey, you want to know something more fascinating than that?
What's that?
So the writer for that Bad Batch episode did leave this tweet here. Tamara Betcher Wilkinson. It's hard to put into words how much writing today's episode of Bad Batch meant to me as a lifelong Star Wars fans. At Baby Moochie.
At Baby Moochie.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, literally, like, people are down here like, so, like, is that the same Rancor from,
Right.
Return of the Jedi? Like, I really hope it isn't. Like, did you just set up that to kill it?
Okay, I mean, let's just stop and think about that for a second. As a Star Wars fan, wouldn't you love to plant that in everyone's head if you got to be a writer for anything? I mean, wouldn't you just love to take something obscure like that and be like, hey, the Rancor? I'm going to give the Rancor an origin story, and it's going to be awesome. And people are going to talk about it forever. And I'm not going to tell them if it's the Rancor or not, because I'm going to give it a name. And they just don't think it's that one. It'll be great.
Yeah.
It's going to mess with them.
That's pretty cool. That was kind of funny that was the first thing that popped up. Sorry, we got followed by more people. We're super popular right now, dude. We're
Super
so
popular.
dude.
Oh, my
we're so
goodness.
we're so hot right now. We're so
We're
fun.
on we're on fleek. That's probably not even a term
It's not
anymore.
a word anymore, I don't think. I think that's a boomer term. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, back to whatever. Bounty
we're
hunters.
done.
Did we
done.
finish?
We went through the whole thing.
Oh, sick.
No, so basically, Boss kills the banker clan dude, and all but one of the slaves gets killed in the ambush, and Boss kills his entire army, and Bib's happy.
Yeah,
And
super
Bib offers him
super
some
anime
food.
Bib.
And Bib offers him some food. He's like, no, I like raw stuff. Okay, this is a perfect example. I don't know how well you can see this from my screen, but get to this page where Bosk is fighting one of the bank clan, like basically his tank.
Yep.
This is ridiculous. Like, this is some weird art right here. This is just absolute anime.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very anime-ish.
And then, like, Bosk just slams the dude's head into a rock for no reason. Like, he shouldn't be able to do that. The guy's massive. Although I did think it was kind of funny at one point. They have this little thing where it's like, oh, you should always fight honorably and fair. And Bosk is like, I prefer to fight with a rock.
Yeah.
Just,
Good times.
the dialogue's terrible.
Yep, last panel, though. Boba Fett's Slave One. Okay. They're on the trail. They're on the trail. And again, all this is setting up for War of the Bounty Hunt. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Aphra or mainline now?
Let me just... I'll mix them up like card style with my eyes closed.
I have one on my phone and I have one in physical form.
No, that's what I'm doing it. I'm almost... Okay. Dr. Aphra.
You know, if you couldn't keep up with which one that would have been.
No, I totally knew what it was.
Okay. I was hoping.
You saw the flaw in my plan.
It's like the super easy version of that one little tapper mini game where you watch which cans get shaken up. Yep.
All right, so back at it again. Last we left Aphra and Sonostaros. They were after the Nihil Drive, which is a fraud.
The Path Engine. Oh, the Path Engine.
And we have these marauding pirates who just leave them there. Oh, they're as good as dead. Classic trope.
But hey, we've got some Bacta spray, so we're good.
Yeah. The cover makes things look a lot worse than what they are.
Yeah.
Because the
cover makes it look like she's dead. Like she looks already dead.
Yeah.
And then we get to like the third panel, and Aphra's like, "Oh, that looks bad." Boop. Now it's not.
Looks bad. Here, have a spray and a bandage. Oh, it's cute when you pretend to care. It's like, I know, sweet lies. And then they discover that everyone's dead. All their bar buddies. And, they're going after the real or fake drive.
Yeah. Which is fake.
Yes. Oh, goodness. So, it's been a while.
Think of our other... So these characters that we kind of get introduced to are brand new, right? I don't remember them.
Yeah, I believe so.
When
I was trying to figure out this lady's name because it's been a while since we read it. So Lady Domina.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little ahead of you.
No, you're good. But first and foremost, we have a competitor here who is going to try and sell this drive. And Domina gets a hollow from an admiral from the Empire. Basically, it's like, oh, well, if this is, super cool, we're going to have to, reassess our relationship. And she's like, well, crap. Well, I hope that, it doesn't work out. Hope Aphra kind of, comes through, because if not, I might be, be kind of screwed. Yeah. Well, and then we have Super Anime Boy.
Which one?
Both of them. What was this guy's name? Lucky? Just Lucky? Yeah, Just Lucky.
I don't remember.
No, that's his name, Just Lucky.
Is it really Just Lucky?
That's what it says in the beginning of the comic.
Oh my god.
Well, Just Lucky and his pal boyfriend or something, sort of not really dating, but basically. I don't know. This whole thing with Lucky is just, it's so weird. And I say that because so we have a Twi'lek who apparently they know, who's like a bartender here.
Yeah, and the Twi'lek's like, tell your mom I said hi. Or no, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Lucky's like, tell your mom I said hi. She's always asking about you, Lucky.
Yeah,
why is she always asking about you? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, the whole thing is just kind of, I don't know. I don't get Lucky yet. And the whole thing with Lucky is he was kind of a turncoat in the very beginning.
Right. I mean, he's just got the same type of personality as Aphra in general. He will screw you over probably until he decides not to anymore.
Yeah, I suppose, but even with Aphra, it's not such a stab in the back kind of thing. It's more like a get what I want and run.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know about Lucky. I don't know if I care about him enough or his. Do we have this person's name again? Ariel. I guess that's the name here.
That was his name? I thought that was the Twi'lek's name. Wow. Okay. It's different.
Pretty sure.
And honestly,
Areoli. Do we pronounce the E? I don't know.
Areola. It's Areola.
I work with someone. Well, he's overseas, but his last name is Areola.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well, it's apparently it's well. At least I don't. I'm not going to claim no, but I mean, apparently
different meaning there.
Well, no, apparently it's not like uncommon in the Philippines or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea, man. But yeah, the first time I saw it, I was like, okay.
And by the way, just kind of jumping out of Star Wars for a second, there's an advertisement for a Marvel comic on the next page, which I kind of want to try. Shang-Chi. To save the Marvel Universe, he must break the Marvel Universe. And he just beats the crap out of everybody. Like, you got Spider-Man and Iron Man and The Thing, and, like, everyone got the crap beat out of him.
Captain
awesome.
Marvel, Thor.
Yeah.
Well, isn't Shang-Chi supposed to have a movie? Or a TV show?
Well, I would say, isn't he part of Doctor Strange's little group?
Well, I mean, that would make sense, but I don't know. But I want to say that, yeah, okay. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So that's in September. I thought I remember seeing this. I don't know anything about this character. Like, they're pulling stuff out of left field. Like, we're getting ready to see stuff like Moon Knight, and is Moon Knight DC or is it Marvel? I don't remember. I don't care.
I'm at the point where I'm kind of lost in this phase of Marvel a bit because I just don't keep up with these more obscure Marvel characters. So, yeah.
It was written in the Bronze Age of comics, 1983, just like a master of kung fu. I don't know. I don't know if this splits off into. I don't think that this.
Okay, just a kung fu master is not taking out the Thing and Iron Man. He's got to have something special about him. Unless he's already got the 10 rings at the start of this comic, and that's important somehow. I don't know.
I trained since the beginning.
We're making so many people mad right now, probably, that are big fans of this character. I apologize.
Well,
but
I've just never heard. We weren't comic people. No, we weren't. I mean, I'm still not. I still don't really read much. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who this person is. I mean, listen.
It does look kind of cool, though. I will say that.
Well, if they make it into like a cool kung fu movie, I'd be pretty cool. But if you're
do a 80s style kung fu movie in the Marvel universe, that'd be great.
Yeah, I don't know. And they say he's non-superhuman. He's just really, really good. He's just really. I mean, put him up against some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, bro.
So what you're saying is we need to make this a Jet Li movie?
That'd be pretty. Jet Li's getting older than you think, man.
No, do like Ip Man. That'd be sweet.
Donnie Yang, yeah. That'd
Yeah.
be sick. No, I mean, they have it cast. It's already cast. I don't know who this person is either, but he looks sick. He looks sick. It does look like a Doctor Strange thing, though, like the promo thing. I don't know, dude. Anyway, so yeah.
Surprise, he's not Shang-Chi, he's actually Shang-Shung.
Shang Tsung, you got
here to take all the Marvel characters' souls.
Our attention spans are not really holding to these comics, and we're over an hour in.
They're not, and this is why we weren't comic people growing up.
Well, let's continue on. So Aphra and Sana are going to steal this drive. They they assassinate a couple of interns. Well, I mean, maybe not assassinate them.
Kind of.
Yeah, they probably did. Take their uniforms and then bring coffee to the guy. Ooh, it's the wrong coffee.
It was Calf.
Well, I think Calf is a stupid name. And
is Calf alcoholic? Because I feel like
so.
I feel like half the time people talk about Calf like it is, but then you have this guy like middle of the day asking for Calf.
It's just coffee, and I think
credits thing. It's like no one thinks about it, but now I want to think about it.
Well, honestly, probably what it is just like pure caffeine.
Right.
It's like just brown liquid caffeine. Swallow it and just get effed.
Get ripped.
Get wrecked. Oh, man. I don't know. So anyway, they find the drive. Oh, yep, that's totally fake. Let's go in and
Big
pilfer
surprise.
Let's pilfer their, 65-inch flat screen TV. Oh, ships and stuff. Nothing really here. Hey, what are you guys doing in here? I'm going to point a gun at you really stupidly like I'm in a 1960s, cartoon or something.
I'm going to point it in a way that if I shoot it, I'll break my wrist.
I mean, I kind of wish sometimes that we did do video for the show. Like, if we actually did do it, we'd have to get you some lights. But if we did do video, just to show you how he pointed this little pea shooter at Aphra, it's just kind of hilarious. Aphra says, "Oh, we're from the Empire. We're totally going to tell Darth Vader about you." And then the Unbroken Clan comes and blows things up and kills a couple of people. And it's like, "Hey, give me the drive or you're all going to die. To be continued." Now, I will say this. The cover of the next comic does make it seem like she might start to discover some of the secrets of the Nihil, like how they found paths. So that could be interesting.
By the way, the most terrifying person to know anything about the Nihil would be Dr. Aphra. That is not information she needs to know.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
Because I feel like she would just make this ridiculous, beefed up version of the Path engine and make it work without the grandma and just like destroy everything.
I'm going everywhere.
Oh, I just blew up the Millennium Falcon. Crap. Well, Han Solo's a loser anyway, so.
Jeez. We got stung by bees together. It's a great memory. All right. The final comic, man. Let's home stretch it.
Yes, the good one.
Yeah, Star Wars 12. This
Aphra wasn't bad, but yeah,
no, Aphra's actually been pretty good. When we did our full Aphra episode, I actually found myself reasonably engaged.
Yeah, more so than the audio drama for sure.
The audio drama had its good moments, but yeah, it also had its meh moments too.
Yeah,
it just seemed a little disjointed.
Aphra's just set up to be a comic book character. I feel like.
Well, the thing is she's always alone, so you have to hear all this inner monologue. But to be honest with you, I would much rather see her and Sana Staros just having adventures and so forth. Kind of like Chaz Nachatic and Alphabet Squadron.
Oh my God,
Quell.
Yeah.
Kind of like at the end of the last Alphabet Squadron book where they're sort of doing stuff together, that sort of thing sometimes works because sometimes when you have that singular loner character, and I think Aphra's definitely a lot more interesting than Quell, but she's also kind of off the wall. I don't want to say crazy because she's not crazy, but she's just off the wall. And I think when you try and make up all these, and again, we kind of kicked back against it in the audio drama, but the whole thing when she was shoved out the airlock and somehow having all of her stuff lined with credits saved her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That just opens up the credit debate again.
I don't want to talk about the credit debate. I'm good. I'm good on the credit debate. Yes. How insulatory are the credits? What do those things contain? They're asbestos. They're just asbestos. They can survive from burning too.
That's how Leia survived. She had so many credits.
So many credits. It was the newest fashion on, oh yes, my planet was destroyed. Just interweaved credits. That'd be sick. All right, but seriously though, we got to get serious here. So Star Wars mainline issue 12. I'll be honest, I totally forgot where we were in the story with this one too when I was reading it. I was so out of it. I was like, okay, did the guy's wife die already? I mean, am I supposed to be sad?
I kind of wondered
right
the
now?
same thing too.
Well, dude, it's been weeks. And I'm not going to go back and read it again. I mean, it was okay, but So we start back here with Captain Dameron here. And, his wife was away on a mission. And I'll be honest, like, although this wasn't a bad comic, it is totally just like an overly indulgent story comic.
Well, literally all it is I'm sad my wife's gone. I'm sad my boyfriend's gone. You want to tell stories about him? Sure.
Yeah.
The end.
You knew about Han? Yeah, like
everybody knows about Han.
We all totally knew about you two kissing and stuff.
You're not brother. Brother knows about Han too. What? What?
Jeez. Everybody knows. You know that one time you were kissing on the Falcon? You pushed the comm, and everybody heard you kissing. All right. So, but I mean, seriously, that's all it is here. It doesn't really advance the story at all. Well, there's a little bit at the end, but it's literally just us telling stories, and we learn about.
I mean, you could also say that finding out how Luke gets his lightsaber back doesn't really advance story either, but it's entertaining.
Well, but that was kind of more interesting, at least to me. I mean, no offense, but it just was.
Oh no, I agree.
So we learn how the Damerons met, and essentially, I'm actually trying to, because the wife's name is Cass, correct? What is the husband's first name? What is old Papa Dam? What's old Papa Dameron's name? Point. Dude, these comics don't have the names in the beginning like Aphra
let's just
does.
jump ahead to after the betting, and then we'll get it.
For goodness sake. I don't want to do that. Why do I always have to, not remember names? This is bad. Well, anyway, he goes to Galator 3 to the casino.
Not Canto Bite, but
no,
kind of
thankfully.
Canto Bite.
Well, he goes to the casino with his buddies. He bets on a race, and the racer turns out to be Cass, and, she won him a lot of money, and can't believe he won, and he's flushed with cash. He goes to meet the pilot to say thank you. He's like, hey, no. So he's Cass. She is Shara.
Shara Bay.
That's it. So he's Cass. She is Shara. She is Shara.
Shara.
Maybe I'll remember. But that's how they met, and buy each other drinks and stuff, and that's it.
Yeah, I like. He's just like, yeah, we had a baby. The baby's kind of an asshole, but we love him.
It's kind of true. He's a handful. Oh, is that what the slang is today? What's the new slang? What is it when you're lying? It's like people leave they leave like a cap emoji, means that you're lying.
Apparently, I'm too old to know that. Well, how do you know it? I literally work with a bunch of 15-year-olds. How do you know this and not me?
I mean, that's I don't know. I could even be wrong about that. I just remember seeing something about it recently. I just thought it was kind of funny. But apparently, if you leave like a cap emoji on something, it means you're lying. I don't know. It could be something else. It wouldn't be capping, because capping is a little too close to clapping, and clapping is something we won't discuss here. Yeah, are people done with sus?
I've never heard someone actually say sus, personally.
Oh, I mean, I see
it online, but no one says it in person.
Yeah, I don't know about in life, but sure online. I did think it was funny when, was it Xbox that was doing something? There was one of the bigger game things where the guy comes out and he's like, "Don't be sus."
Oh God!
And everybody's like, "What are you talking about, man? I mean, you don't even know what that means, do you? It's not even a hard one to get to know. You're just saying it because that's what people."
By the way, we bought Out Among Us. It's now on Xbox.
Oh yeah. I'm kind of surprised that people are still playing that. Are people still playing that? I mean, aside from little kids. That was super popular. And it's not a new game. It's actually
no,
it's actually
kind of
old.
It's like what, 15, 16, something like that.
I don't know. It's not.
I mean, like the 15-year-olds I work with, they will play it if you ask them to. They still play it, but I don't think it's that popular anymore now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we should really get to the comic. Maybe I should put in a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode.
We need a shocker that automatically senses when we're not talking about Star Wars for more than 5 minutes. Just give us a little, a 4 out of 10 jolt.
You know what? We didn't even rate the episode earlier.
I don't care. It was the best one, honestly. We'll
get to it at the end. I thought about it, and then we started rambling on about something else. But yeah, this is like the episode that probably shouldn't have happened.
We didn't rate the comics either.
Oh, I don't care about that. I'll rate books and movies. I'm not rating comics.
Oh, we were waiting to rate story arcs. That's right. That's what we've been doing with comics.
All right. So anyway, Leia starts to tell a story back from Hoth. The generator was going down, and it was
catastrophic meltdown, Chernobyl stuff.
Yeah, well, it was from a YT freighter bigger than the Falcon, but Han's like, oh yeah, I totally have an extra one of those. Let me and Chewie do it. While you house all the Tauntauns in my Falcon, and
they shoot some form of gas.
Yeah, which
warm
is
things up to reset the timer. Oh no, that was bad. Now there's smoke. Oh, that was a terrible idea, Chewie. Last time I listened to you.
Yeah, why did they have to raise the temperature?
Because it would stop the meltdown, I guess.
How? It's a meltdown.
They didn't explain that. It'd be like, oh no, radioactive meltdown from a reactor. Let me throw more radioactivity at it, and it will stop the meltdown.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. But anyway, they were about to evacuate. Han and Chewie are able to fix the thing, and then they come back, and Leia relays a lesson.
Fix those heaters.
Yeah.
Cold.
Well, yeah, I mean, Leia does, it is kind of sweet in her mind, though. It's like, well, he hated the cold. He made sure he let everybody know, but he never left.
Although one thing I didn't really like, I don't know how early on in their relationship we are here where she's still giving him total crap, but she says 4 times, he's kind of half useless. It's like, when has Han Solo ever been half useless to you? He's saved your butt so many times. Everyone's crapping on Han for some reason in these comics.
Well, I mean, he would probably be a pretty hard person just to have tied down to that place. He's used to being wild and free. And, the funny thing is, despite the fact that Han and Leia, great couple, okay, sort of, until you brought out the sequel trilogy in which they became not a great couple.
Yeah.
But, the thing is he probably would have been better off with somebody like Kira. Although he probably would have been dead sooner. They would have ran so fast. But the thing is Leia never really ran with Han.
Right.
And Han could never really run with Leia because they were two very different people. He's kind of a scoundrel. She's a politician. They're polar opposites. But we don't know what happens with Kira because who the hell knows if Solo 2 will ever be made.
It's just up in the air right now, so.
Yeah. But, if they actually did come together and that was the story.
Listen, Kira's sacrificing herself for Han at some point if she ever comes back. It's got to happen.
Well, sure.
She cannot be alive. She just can't. But
probably.
I mean, honestly, New Jedi Order delved into their relationship so much more than New Canon does. They always go back. New Canon keeps going back. They don't want to move forward all that much, other than the movies. I mean, they jump forward. They're writing, and granted, there are some books with some of the early relationship, kind of before Ben and as Ben is a little kid, a baby. Mm-hmm. But again, this is I think this kind of gets into some bitterness again that I don't really feel like we need to go into. But I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see what happens right after Ben turns, though. I kind of want to see how they cope and deal with it. Obviously, they don't cope with it well.
Well,
But
no,
I
they
would
don't. They split.
Yeah.
They eventually split, which, I don't know how, Book-Han and Leia had some split offs too. I mean, they both dealt with the same sort of issues. So there is one thing that the movie did sort of realize that the books also did at some points too, is that, Han in his independence, and he has to do stuff, and he just can't be at home. And again, that kind of highlights something about relationships when you're trying to force things. I guess the question is are Han and Leia actually really a good couple?
Well, we all have our starry-eyed version of them from the movies growing up, and oh, I love you, I know. They're amazing. They're perfect. But yeah, they have their issues. And not just Han. I mean, we're kind of going into non-canon legends now, but, Leia was pretty absent, too. I mean, it wasn't just Han. She was so obsessed with being part of the Senate that she completely ignored her family as well.
Well, here's the other thing, though. Let's say they never got together and Han was able to go off and do his thing. I think Leia probably would have been, the Chancellor.
Yeah, I would say Mon Mothma would not be a thing.
Well, I'm just saying because Leia did hold herself back, at times for her family, and I think if she wouldn't have had those sort of restrictions, I think she would have been, the leader. And then who honestly knows what that would have led to? I mean,
not having Ben and then actually dealing with things in the galaxy, First Order might not have happened. Never know. That is an interesting thing to think about. Could Leia have stopped the First Order from becoming so big, opposed to Mon Mothma? Interesting thing to think about.
Well, I only say that because there was such a fundamental shift in Leia's personality. Because in the beginning, granted, she was young, I mean, very young, but I mean, Luke was too. But in the beginning, she was such a force of nature. She was, she was a leader. She was a leader. The only thing that Mon Mothma had on her was time and age. I mean, experience, but age, really. She was much older. And I think that I think if she would have continued to walk down that path, she would have probably wound up leading the Republic. And then, I mean, really not having Ben would have been, not having that sort of thing. And who knows, you could have had another, because you have to have somebody to help lead it. Because ultimately it wasn't
Luke had other students. I mean, he could have found someone else from his students to.
But I just feel like we've proven this time and time again. Leia has always been far more clairvoyant about threats. Whether that was the Yuuzhan Vong threat that the Senate didn't listen to, or, preparing for the First Order when people didn't, actually creating the resistance. So,
and even putting down her lightsaber and stopping training because she saw at the end of that journey would ultimately lead to the death of her son.
Which is stupid because it did either way.
Well, it didn't.
I mean, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't think. Well, anyway, I don't want to talk about fates and everything because I think it's a bunch of crap. You do or do not. It's not about.
Try.
No, it's not even about there is no try. But you either do or you do not. You make your choices and you live with it. But I don't know. Putting down the saber, it is. She still trains Rey, so she's still involved. Yeah. And again, movieisms and so forth, whatever. But anyway, so to wrap up the comic, we do get word from Kes. She has a little bunk.
She spliced a bunch of little droids together and is hacking into the Imperial system.
It's just kind of funny. She found a little cubby hole on this ship to chill in. And she gets a message out.
It's also funny. She's like, well, any rebel would have done this. I don't know if any rebel could do this, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So, yeah, that's pretty much where we ended. A bit of a, I don't know. It was fine, but it was a bit of a buzzkill for me because it's like, oh, you're just going to tell stories?
Yeah.
You're not going to move things along? It's like, so you really weren't ready for for the Bounty Hunters series. You really got to hold back.
They need a little filler.
you gotta hold back for that. Interesting. So anyway, let's go back. Let's give ratings for the episode, and then we'll probably start to wrap up. But go back to Rampage. What do you want to give it out of
for that?
Yeah, we do 10 for shows and movies, 5 for books.
Okay. I'm gonna give it an 8.2. 8.2. Good episode. Actually, I think it's probably the most entertaining episode of the 5 we've seen so far. And please, for the love of God, do not go back and check our ratings, because I don't remember what I rated these. I might have rated something higher than this. Don't do that to me. Don't call me out. But no, I do think this is the best episode we've had. More entertaining. The jokes were better. Even Wrecker was kind of entertaining in a way in this episode. We got some stuff going on with Wrecker with his inhibitor chip. That's going to be a ticking time bomb. That I kind of want it to be, though, honestly. I feel like Wrecker would be...
He could just have numerous concussions. All right? He could have CTE. All right?
That's true. Wrecker's probably a good candidate for that. I won't argue with you, but we got that to deal with. We get some cool stuff with Omega, potentially a cool new signature weapon. I mean, obviously the Rancor stuff is awesome, even if it isn't the Rancor from Jabba's palace that we see fight Luke. I don't care. It was still awesome.
Yeah.
Sid seems like a good setup for an actual arc. Like, I don't know. At the end, Hunter's like, oh, well, nah, we're not really bounty hunters, but they need to be for a little bit. And I feel like that would be a good way to go, good direction for the story as we deal with Fennec Shan. But overall, just a good, entertaining episode. Didn't set up a whole lot, but I'm more interested now for next week. Like, I'm actually thinking about next week for the first time since this show has come out. So, overall, good episode.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with the rating as well. I think that it was, probably the best episode so far. And, oh man, I'm sleepy. It's not even that late.
Need some calf.
I don't need some calf. It's a little late for some calf. I just need to, get up and move around a bit. But no, seriously, good episode. I think, the 8.2 I think is completely fair. And, I think that it gives a little bit more setup for the future with the potential of, giving us a route for these guys to go, because the planet hopping just doesn't work for me long term. It just doesn't make a ton of sense. So with that being said, I think it'll be cool for them to sort of settle down for a little bit, maybe take some bounties, do some cool stuff, and then, eventually figure out what Omega is, and have to sort of battle that back. But I think if they do start taking bounties, we probably wouldn't see Fennec for a little while, just because it would be a little harder for her to catch up to them if they're out and about doing their thing. I could be wrong. Regardless, still interesting episode. Does kind of leave me with a little bit more excitement for the potential future of the show. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully it continues to be good-ish. Because if not,
that's our current rating of the show in general, is good-ish.
Yeah, if not, I'm going to cancel all of you.
What if we actually set up the Bad Batch to be bounty hunters, like legitimate bounty hunters, and then we see them in War of the Bounty Hunters in a time jump?
Well, here's the only problem. I think just having everybody be bounty hunters is a little bit of an overused trope for me.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. And they're usually not very interesting characters, to be honest.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm open to about anything. I just needed to start seeing some sort of development, something that helps along the story. And I think we're getting that now, and hopefully that kind of continues on as we go along, but we will see. So 8.2, agreed.
Which is your favorite comic of the three? We'll give that rating at least. I'm going Aphra, personally.
Yeah, that's tough. That's pretty tough. I guess I'd have to also agree with Aphra. I mean, the main Star Wars comic was fine, but it kind of felt like, yeah, it's like you just didn't have anything until Bounty Hunters and the.
Well, they don't have to set up as much, truthfully, when you think about it. Like,
yeah,
they don't.
Yeah, no, it's true. And then, the Bounty Hunters. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about it. I just don't. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Here's hoping we get a good week for Vader, Something that doesn't make Anakin look like a brat.
That needs to turn around a little bit, too, because I've been a little disappointed in that series since, like the past couple comics. But I don't know. We'll see. There's still more to come, and we've got a lot more to look into, don't we?
Yes, we do. About to get overwhelming here soon enough.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, or fortunately. I don't know if it's unfortunate at all.
As we say all the time, when there's a ton of content, good time to be a fan.
No doubt. No doubt. Definitely a good time to be a fan. Well, all right, folks. I believe that is it for today, unless you have anything else to bore them with. I mean, I think we bored them with a ton of our weird rantings today.
No, I'm good. The only thing I'll say, just that weird, half-tired, want to go to sleep part of my brain just had a thought. I want to see a conversation, which is literally impossible, between Bosk and Skier, to where it just degrades into them just hissing at each other.
God. Yes, Trandoshans. That's exactly what I need more of today.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Skier
good
and
times.
Bosk are two people we do not need more of right now.
Well, we're going to hear a little bit more from Skier once we get back into High Republic, I am sure.
Yes.
He's being taken over by the tree people.
He's got a Groot arm.
Yeah, we'll get to that. All right, folks. Well, hopefully you don't hate us too much for this episode. Make sure to make sure to follow us on all the social media at TC Plan Podcast. Find us on Facebook. Send us an email, tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought about the show. Let us know what you thought about the episodes. How are you liking Bad Batch? How are you liking, I don't know, the comics, media, whatever. Tell us right now. And then, we'll talk about it on the show if you do. But aside from that, you guys have a great rest of your week.
And as always, may the Force be with you.